Hello students of class 11th. How are you? I hope you all are fine. So dear students, let us continue with the chapter 5, Mother's Day, written by J.B. Priestley. This is a play about Mrs. Pearson. Mrs. Pearson is a housewife in this story, and Mrs. Pearson, she does not receive any respect from her family members, from her daughter, her son and her husband. But she does not, she is happy, she does not want them to give her respect. But Mrs. Fitzgerald, she is the neighbor of Mrs. Pearson. She does not want so. She wants Mrs. Pearson to be respected by her husband, her son, her daughter. She forces Mrs. Pearson to behave, to teach them how to behave properly and behave them strictly, so that they should learn how to respect, so that they could learn how to respect with elders. But Mrs. Pearson, she was not ready to deal strictly with her family members, her husband, her son, her daughter. Then Mrs. Fitzgerald, as she knew some arts of exchanging the personality, so using that art she exchanged the personality. Now personalities have been exchanged. Mrs. Pearson becomes Mrs. Fitzgerald and Mrs. Fitzgerald becomes Mrs. Pearson. So thus they exchanged their personality. After exchanging the personality, Mrs. Fitzgerald with Mrs. Pearson's personality, she goes to Mrs. Pearson's house and she started behaving, she started dealing strictly with the Mrs. Pearson's daughter Doris and Mrs. Pearson's son Cyril and Mrs. Pearson's husband George. So as we have gone through how a conversation went between Mrs. Pearson and Mrs. Pearson and her daughter Doril Pearson, and this time she is not real Mrs. Pearson. So she was behaving in a very strange way. So that is why Cyril and Doris, okay, her son and daughter, now they are surprised to see that their mother is not behaving the way she was behaving earlier. But they doesn't know what is the reality. In reality, she is not real Mrs. Pearson. She was Mrs. Fitzgerald with Mrs. Pearson's personality. Okay students, so let us continue with this humorous play and let's see what happened next in the play. So I have explained till to page number 45. So you students are requested to take out your book and turn your book to page number 46. Okay. So today I am going to read and explain page number 46 and page number 47. Mrs. Pearson, severely, possibly you do, but what I doubt is whether your opinion's worth having. What do you know? So Mrs. Pearson here, she is talking to she is talking to Cyril, and strictly, harshly, severely means strictly, harshly. Okay, so Mrs. Pearson said strictly, possibly you do. Let us connect it with the previous conversation which was going on between Cyril and Mrs. Pearson. It was about her father George Pearson. Okay, so as Cyril said to Mrs. Pearson that she would not have called him Pompey Pearson, and she would not have informed him that in the club, the people, the other members of the club, they used to call him Pompey Pearson. It might hurt him. Nothing you spend too much time and good money at greyhound races and dirt tracks and ice shows. So she said you spend a lot of time on greyhound races and dirt tracks and ice shows. So thus she was telling him how she was wasting his time and how Cyril was wasting his time and his money. Cyril sulkily now. Well, what if I do? He said then what? What if I do? If I do so, then what's wrong in it? I have got to enjoy myself somehow, haven't I? So he said, so here I am free to enjoy myself. So by doing so, I enjoy myself. So what is wrong in it if I do it? Mrs. Pearson, I wouldn't mind so much if you were really enjoying yourself. She said, I wouldn't mind at all if you really enjoying this greyhound race. Okay, and races and dirt tracks and ice shows. If you have been really enjoying, so I wouldn't say anything to you. But are you? Further she asked whether she was enjoying these things. And where's it getting you? This is a sharp hurried knocking heard of left. So when she said so, at that moment they heard a knocking at the door. Cyril, might be for me, I'll see. Cyril said, it might be this call for me. Someone has come to see me, so let me see who is there. Cyril hurries out left in a moment and re-enters, closing the door behind him. Then Cyril hurries the left. In a moment, Cyril re-enters, closing the door behind him. It's that silly old bag from next door, Mrs. Fitzgerald. He said, who was at the door, how he informs that it's that silly old bag from next door, Mrs. Fitzgerald. He calls Mrs. Fitzgerald a silly old bag, as he is not knowing that she is Mrs. Fitzgerald, to whom he was saying that it is Mrs. Fitzgerald, a huge bag, or bag, old bag, not huge bag, old bag from next door, Mrs. Fitzgerald. So she was not real Miss Fitzgerald, Mrs. Fitzgerald. So this time it was Mrs. Pearson with the personality of Mrs. Fitzgerald. You don't want her here, do you? Mrs. Pearson sharply. Certainly I do, she said. Certainly I do. I want her here. And don't call her a silly old bag either. Further, she said, don't call her a silly old bag. She is a very nice woman. So here Miss Fitzgerald, she is praising herself with the personality of Mrs. Pearson. Okay, and with a lot more sense than you will ever have. She said she has lot more sense than you will ever have. So don't call him old silly bag. Cyril now exists left. Mrs. Pearson finishes her stout, smacking her lips. Now Mrs. Pearson finishes her beer and now she was smacking. Smacking means have a flavor of or taste of anything, that is smacking the lips. If you feel something very it is sweet on your lips, then you smack it, no? So take a flavor of that. So in the same way, Mrs. Pearson now, she is not real Mrs. Pearson. She is Mrs. Fitzgerald with personality of Mrs. Pearson. She was smacking her lips. Smacking means, you know, have a flavor or taste. Let me write here, smacking. Smacking means have a taste, or flavor. Have a taste or flavor of anything. Okay, let me write more words from this page, then I'll explain. Severely, as you know that severely means strictly or harshly. Strictly or harshly. Okay. Ushering means, you know, guiding someone. Okay, rest word you know. Glowering, meaning of many words we have discussed in the previous pages. Glowering means, you know, angrily. So many words in this lesson has been used to express anger. Sulkily, glowering. Okay, so many words have been used in this chapter to express anger. So smacking, have a taste or flavor. Severely, strictly, harshly. Ushering, guiding someone. So glowing, angrily. Okay. Yes. So Cyril exits, left Mrs. Pearson, finishes her stout, finishes her beer, smacking her lips. Cyril re-enters, left, ushering in Mrs. Fitzgerald. Now Cyril, by guiding Mrs. Fitzgerald, Cyril brings her in, who hesitates in the doorway. So she was hesitating in the doorway. So that is why Cyril guides her and bring her in. Take her in. Sorry, takes her in, not take. Come in, Mrs. Fitzgerald. Mrs. Fitzgerald, moving to the center anxiously. I just wondered if everything's all right. She said, I just wondered if everything is all right. Actually, in reality, she was Mrs. Pearson, so that is why she was very much worried about her family. So that is why she asked so. She asked, is everything all right? Cyril, sulkily, no, it isn't. As Cyril was not feeling happy, he was sad. So that is why he said, no, everything is not all right. Mrs. Pearson, sharply, which Mrs. Pearson? Yes, Mrs. Fitzgerald with the personality of Mrs. Pearson. She said, of course it is. She said, of course it is okay, it is right, everything is all right. You be quiet. And see, she asked Cyril to be quiet. Cyril now indignantly and loudly, now angrily and loudly, one more word for showing anger, indignantly, loudly. Why should I be quiet? He said, why should he be quiet? Mrs. Pearson shouting, because I tell you to, you silly. Because I am telling you to keep quiet. That's why you should keep quiet. You silly, spoiled, young Pecan, student, pecan means foolish person. Piecan. Let me write. Piecan means foolish. Sorry, foolish person. Okay. Pecan means foolish person. So Mrs. Pearson called him a foolish person, silly. Mrs. Fitzgerald protesting nervously. Now Mrs. Fitzgerald, with personality of Mrs. Pearson, she protested nervously. Oh no, surely, she said. Oh no, surely, Mrs. Pearson. Now Mrs. Fitzgerald, just let me manage my family in my own way. Then Mrs. Pearson, who is not real Mrs. Pearson, she said, let me manage my family on my own way, in my own way, please, Mrs. Fitzgerald. Yes, but Cyril, actually she is a real Pearson, so that is why she is a real Mrs. Pearson. So that is why she is worried about Cyril. She said, but Cyril now sulkily and glowering means glowering means angrily. Now Cyril said angrily, Mr. Cyril Pearson, to you please. He said, I am not Cyril for you. For you I am Mr. Cyril Pearson. So call me Mr. Cyril Pearson. Don't call me Pearson. Mr. Cyril Pearson, to you please. Mrs. Fitzgerald. Cyril stalks off into the kitchen. So saying so, Cyril moves to the kitchen. Mrs. Fitzgerald moving to the settee, whispering. Now Mrs. Fitzgerald, she moves to the sofa and now she is whispering, oh dear, what's happening? So she asked what was happening, because she was real Mrs. Pearson and she did not want any member of his family to be unhappy. So that is why she asked what happened. Mrs. Pearson calmly, in a very calm way, quiet way, nothing much, just putting them in their places, that's all. She said nothing much, just putting them at their places, teaching them how to behave in a proper manner. Doing what you ought to have done long since. So doing what you should have done long since you should have done. The way I am behaving with them, you should have behaved with them long ago, but you haven't done. Okay, you should have dealt with them this way. Mrs. Pearson, Mrs. Fitzgerald, oh dear, nervously, oh dear, I wish you hadn't, Mrs. Fitzgerald. So, now she was very much worried about her family. Mrs. Fitzgerald, I don't think I want them eating out of my hand. So, I don't think I want them eating out of my hand. So, I don't let them to eat outside. Mrs. Pearson now impatiently, well, whatever you want, they will be doing it. She said, whatever you want, they will be doing it, all three of them. Mark my words, Mrs. Pearson. She said, mark my words, Mrs. Pearson, and leave it. Now please exchange the personality she wants to say. Okay. George enters left gloomily. Now sadly George enters left. He is unpleasantly surprised when he sees the visitor. When he sees the visitor, Mrs. Fitzgerald. Now he got surprised. He moves to the armchair left, sits down heavily and glumly lights his pipe. Now he sits and lights his pipe and starts smoking. Then he looks from Mrs. Pearson to Mrs. Fitzgerald. Once he looks at Mrs. Pearson, then Mrs. Fitzgerald, who is regarding him anxiously. So Mrs. Fitzgerald looking at him anxiously, worriedly. So George just looked in for a minute. I suppose Mrs. Fitzgerald, George said, just look in for a minute, I suppose Mrs. Fitzgerald. Mrs. Fitzgerald, who doesn't know what she is saying. Well, yes, I suppose so, George. Now George, aghast means angrily, George, because here Mrs. Fitzgerald, she was calling him by his name George. So that is why George got surprised and he said, George, you are calling me George. So because here Mrs. Pearson was with Miss Fitzgerald's personality. So that is why she could not help herself by calling him George. So he got surprised when he was called George by Mrs. Fitzgerald. Mrs. Fitzgerald nervously, oh, I'm sorry. Mrs. Pearson impatiently, what does it matter? She said, why you are sorry for anything? Your name is George. If your name is George, it isn't. So who do you think you are? Duke of Edinburgh. So do you thinking you are the king of the Edinburgh? Your name is George and she has called you George. So why? So what's wrong? What's wrong? She said. You are thinking you are king of the Edinburgh. So George angrily, what's he got to do with it? Just tell me that. So why it is related to the king of Edinburgh? Just let me know. And isn't it bad enough without her calling me George? No tea. So already I have gone through many bad things like no tea, Pompey Pearson, and poor Doris has been crying her eyes out upstairs. Yes, crying her eyes out. So now George said already we have been tortured. Already Doris is crying. So it is more than calling me George. It is more than calling me George. The way you have behaved me. Now turn your book to next page 48. So let me write some words and their meaning, then I'll explain. Okay. Some hard words and their meanings from page number 48. So first phrase is sixes and sevens. Sixes and sevens. So this phrase means confused and disorganized. Confused and disorganized. Next one is taunting. Taunting. Taunting means provoke someone in an insulting manner. Provoke someone in an insulting manner. That is taunting. Savagely. Next word is savagely. Savagely means in an aggressive manner. In an aggressive manner. Next word is chum. Chum means foolish. Chum. C-H-U-M. Chum. Be silent. Chum means foolish. Okay, so there are also many words have been used in this chapter for foolish. So many words have been used for foolish. Sixes and sevens means confused and disorganized. Taunting means provoke someone in an insulting manner. Savagely means in an aggressive manner, and chum means foolish. Okay, have you written them all? I hope so. Sorry, it is chum. Okay, it is chum. C-H-U-M-P. Chum. Page number 48. Mrs. Fitzgerald wailing. Now Mrs. Fitzgerald, with personality of Mrs. Pearson, she started wailing, crying, "Oh dear, I ought to have known. Oh dear, I should have realized." So this what was going to happen, I should have realized. So what is going on, it's not good for my family members. George staring at her, annoyed. Now George staring at Mrs. Fitzgerald, annoyed. "You ought to have known," he said. "You ought to have known." Why ought you to have known? Why you should have known? Nothing to do with you, Mrs. Fitzgerald. It's my family, and you have nothing to do, Mrs. Fitzgerald. So why would you? Why ought to? Why you ought to have known? Why? You have nothing to do with my family. Look, we are at sixes and sevens here just now, so perhaps you will excuse us. So look, we are at sixes and sevens. We are confused and disorganized here just now, so perhaps you will excuse us. Mrs. Pearson. Before Mrs. Fitzgerald can reply, anything, Mrs. Pearson said, I won't excuse you, George Pearson. Next time a friend never comes to see me, just say something when you see her. Good evening, how do you do? Or something, and don't just march and sit down without a word. She said, George, you should learn some manners. When next time when any of my friends would come, you should wish him or her good morning. You should wish her good morning or good evening or how do you do. Just don't just come and sit. So learn to behave, learn some manners to behave with a guest or something, and don't just march and sit without a word. It's bad manners. She said these are bad manners. Mrs. Fitzgerald nervously. No, it's all right. She said, no, it's all right. As Mrs. Fitzgerald, she was with personality of Mrs. Pearson, so that is why she was saying that it's all right. Mrs. Pearson, no, it isn't all right. Mrs. Pearson said, no, it isn't all right. We will have some decent manners in this house. Further, she said, we will have some decent manners in this house, or I will know the reason why. Or she said, I will know the reason why there is no one behave in a proper manner. No one, behaves in a proper manner. Well, George, now intimidating. Well, what? So George asked, what will? So dear student, this is all about today's class. In my next class, I will finish this chapter and also discuss question answers and other exercises. Okay, so please keep revising. Any doubt, ask me in online classes. So thank you students for watching this video.